So now it sounds like the Cleveland Browns are going to all but imprison Shedeur Sanders in the football sense of a very talented rookie quarterback who obviously needs.
There was one kind of knucklehead play call where it was 4th and 1 and we went empty.
Yeah,
I'm like,
okay.
You got a rookie quarterback.
Kevin.
You got a rookie quarterback who hasn't been getting reps, and you're going to put him in empty in 4th and 1 where he's like, if there's ever a time where you got to be able to pre-snap, recognize pressure, slide protection, that know your hot checks, that's when you need to know it.
Right.
You know?
This night was supposed to be legendary. Shedeur Sanders, the rookie golden child, the quarterback everyone wanted to see light up prime time, was hyped as the next big face of the league. ESPN plastered his face everywhere. Amazon lined up special camera angles, and the NFL Network basically turned the week into a countdown show for his debut.
Named the starter. Joe Flacco got off his couch and won comeback player of the year in 2023 for the same coach. He knows what Joe Flacco can do. Joe Flacco has been doing this a long time. You can argue his run to a Super Bowl is the greatest run we've seen by a quarterback because of who he had to go through.
I don't know about
The
that.
preseason, no, I'm saying you can argue it. The preseason, Keeb can attest to this. We've been in training camp killing our bodies. You get in a preseason game, even though you want to play, you're not turning it all the way on.
The build-up was electric, the marketing unstoppable, the vibe undeniable. But when the lights came on and millions of fans tuned in, the Browns announced Shedeur inactive, benched. And just like that, everything collapsed. Stadiums that had been sold out suddenly felt empty. Tailgaters who had been hyping his debut were doom-scrolling like teenagers who just found out TikTok got banned.
I hate that they took him out. To me, that was so stupid. Well, I don't care that Snoop Huntley can come in and go 1 of 1 for 7 yards in a 2-minute drill. He's not going to be on a team tomorrow. Why would you not let Shedeur have the 2-minute drill and see if he can do it? Can he shake off? We just talked about how he had poor body language. He looked defeated. Can he shake it off in the moment? Hey, I've had a bad half, but we still, as bad as I've played, we have a chance to go out and win this football game. Can I go out and orchestrate a 2-minute drive to get us into field goal range to win this football game? And instead, you put in the guy who's not going to be on the team tomorrow.
Fans who mortgaged half their houses for overpriced seats demanded answers from anyone wearing a Browns logo. The NFL had advertised Beyoncé at Coachella and sent out a middle school choir instead. The betrayal was instant, and it was brutal. The cameras cut not to the golden rookie warming up, but to Joe Flacco jogging onto the field like it was 2012 again. A quarterback pulled straight off the couch was suddenly the face of the night. The hype vanished, replaced by silence and disbelief. Viewership tanked so fast, you'd think the NFL swapped the game for reruns of tax documentaries. By halftime, 11 million fans still held out hope, but by the fourth quarter, the numbers had dropped to 9 million. A 40% collapse in ratings, catastrophic by NFL standards. But that was just the beginning.
So you mean to tell me the Cleveland Browns listed Shedeur Sanders as inactive today? Inactive? Yo, look, man. At this point, hey, I'm a fan of Shedeur, I'm a fan of Deion, but we just need to stop caring. Because the more people actually trying to tune in to watch Shedeur, the more they ain't gonna play him, and the more they using him for clout and clickbait. They don't want the guy. The owner don't want him. The coach don't want him. The general manager don't want him.
Inside the stadium, the fallout was immediate. Season ticket holders who had been promised the future started booing. Concession stands weren't selling food, they were absorbing anger. Fans returned Shedeur jerseys in waves, vendors describing it as Black Friday in reverse. Entire sections emptied out while the broadcast desperately tried to capture highlights that didn't exist. The Browns had sold their fans a lie, and the fans weren't forgiving. And then came the image that defined the night. Shedeur, helmet off, arms crossed, standing on the sideline alone. According to insiders,
Beat the Browns 17-16. The Browns outgained the Bengals 327 to 141 and had the ball for nearly 36 minutes, but it wasn't enough. And this is why you need to find your quarterback. I don't know why y'all fooling with Joe Flacco. Y'all know Joe Flacco's not taking y'all anywhere. He's not your quarterback of your future. If I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna lose trying to find out who my quarterback is. That's just me. I don't care. I don't care if it's Gabriel. I don't care if it's Shedeur. I don't care who it is. I just know Joe Flacco ain't your quarterback.
It don't matter who was at the quarterback. It could have been Patrick Mahomes.
It could have been.
No,
It could
no,
have been
the
Lamar
guy
Jackson.
he missed the field. You missed the field goal and you missed the PAT.
He only found out he wasn't starting an hour before kickoff. He went through warm-ups, mentally prepped for the biggest moment of his young career, only to be told at the last second he wouldn't even touch the field. Teammates described him tossing his helmet, furious, before veterans calmed him down. Imagine preparing for your wedding, tux on, vows ready, only to be told you're sitting in the back pew while your ex marries someone else. That was the humiliation. That was the betrayal. For Shedeur, this wasn't just a benching. It was a public stripping of trust.
Because Njoku and Judy showed you through training camp, they love this kid because he's special. He got raised by the athlete I think was the greatest athlete in the history of sports. It's in his bloodlines. He was raised around stars to be a star in the National Football League. I said, again, a first guess, before last college football season, he should be the first overall.
And for the locker room, the decision fractured everything. Receivers who had built chemistry with the rookie were suddenly forced to adjust to Flacco's slower arm. Routes slowed, timing vanished, trust evaporated. Offensive linemen who had prepared for Shedeur's mobility now had to protect a quarterback with cement feet. Defensive players who had carried the team already felt their energy wasted on an offense running slower than dial-up internet. Stefanski's decision wasn't just a lineup tweak, it was sabotage. The betrayal spilled beyond the stadium into the national spotlight.
Tough with the Browns. I think Shedeur should be quarterback number one. I think he has what it takes, and the other quarterbacks haven't been working there, and just because someone's getting paid more doesn't mean that they should be starting. That's my positioning.
The next morning, every sports show turned into a roast session. Stephen A. Smith's reaction went viral. Pat McAfee summed it up in one sarcastic jab that spread across social media. Colin Cowherd dedicated an entire monologue, labeling it the most self-destructive coaching call in modern NFL history, and the gambling world, utter chaos. Prop bets set on Shedeur starting became worthless. Fantasy football players saw their lineups implode. Parlays that had been tied to his debut detonated before kickoff. Sportsbooks faced waves of angry calls demanding answers. One coach's decision set off a chain reaction that didn't just ruin a football game.
I don't believe there's no conspiracies, there's no blackballing. That was so stupid. I will never understand that in a million years, why you would take him out in that. You just drafted him. You don't want to see him get those reps and see what he can do, see if he can overcome the bad play, see if he can get out of his head and go out there and lead a drive, have a short memory. Instead, you put him on the bench and let Snoop Huntley go 1 of 1 for 7 yards. What did we learn? What did we learn about anything? We learned nothing. The only thing we learned is that our backup kicker is better than our starting kicker.
Which we already knew. So that is...
It shook the billion-dollar betting industry, and if fans thought the disaster ended there, they underestimated the fallout waiting upstairs. Jimmy Haslam, the Browns' owner, had invested millions in Shedeur's image. He wasn't just a quarterback. He was the marketing plan. He was the reason season tickets sold, why jerseys flew off racks, why Amazon and ESPN poured money into promos. This wasn't just a football game. It was a business showcase. And in one night, Stefanski torched it all. Empty seats, canceled streaming subs, refunds demanded.
I don't believe there's no conspiracies, there's no blackballing. That was so stupid. I will never understand that in a million years, why you would take him out in that. You just drafted him. You don't want to see him get those reps and see what he can do, see if he can overcome the bad play, see if he can get out of his head and go out there and lead a drive, have a short memory. Instead, you put him on the bench and let Snoop Huntley go 1 of 1 for 7 yards. What did we learn? What did we learn about anything? We learned nothing. The only thing we learned is that our backup kicker is better than our starting kicker.
Which we already knew. So that is...
Merchandise returns piling up. Haslam reportedly paced like a man watching his stock portfolio crash in real time. And make no mistake, in the NFL, losing a game isn't what gets you fired. Costing the owner money is. Stefanski had just done both. The whispers started immediately. Would Haslam pull the trigger? Could Stefanski survive this? Because the truth was clear. This wasn't just incompetence. This was financial sabotage. While the NFL world burned, Shedeur stayed silent.
Cleveland Browns, man, their fans are showing their frustrations with Kevin Stefanski and Joe Flacco after their Week 1 loss to the Cincinnati Bengals, 17-16. It's a lot of blaming going around and a lot of finger pointing.
No interviews, no press conferences, no social media posts. In the modern NFL, silence speaks louder than words. His camp leaked just enough to paint him as blindsided, humiliated, and questioning his future in Cleveland. His father, Deion Sanders,
Browns deserve to lose this game. Their coaches can't make any good decisions. First of all, out of all the quarterbacks on their depth chart, they choose Joe Flacco to start the game. Second of all, they also chose this kicker over Dustin Hopkins. Dustin Hopkins would have made every single field goal that this man missed. So Browns fans, don't blame your kicker that you lost. You need to blame Kevin Stefanski because that man cannot make a correct depth chart decision to save his life.
dropped cryptic posts about knowing your worth and not staying where you're not wanted. Subtle? Not at all. Effective? Absolutely. Meanwhile, teammates started quietly backing him online, liking posts demanding his return to the starting lineup. The locker room fracture wasn't just a speculation, it was visible. Younger players reshared memes mocking Stefanski. Veterans tried to play diplomat, but couldn't hide their frustration. And fans everywhere saw the truth. The team wasn't just divided, it was crumbling. Nationally, the league found itself caught in the crossfire. The NFL itself had been complicit in the hype machine, selling Shedeur as part of its future, pouring money into promos, even dedicating exclusive highlight reels. And then on the big night, he never touched the field. Imagine a studio investing millions in a blockbuster movie.
Fed up, dude. People are sick of waiting. Like, we started the show saying don't book your trip to San Francisco for the Super Bowl. That's not what people want to hear. This is a GM and a head coach that inherited a roster with Baker Mayfield on his rookie deal, Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett. You beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. People are fed up. Like, you mentioned 6 games, Daryl. Look at the first 6. Like they got to find a way to win some ball games because people have had it with this regime. And I don't blame them. It's time to start winning some games, and it's time to get...
Marketing the lead actor in every trailer, and then replacing him with a stunt double reading cue cards. That's what the NFL delivered, and fans weren't forgiving. The ripple effect spread across the league. Other teams began circling like vultures, quietly wondering if Cleveland's dysfunction could push Shedeur toward the trade block. Agents whispered about new contract clauses to protect rookies from insecure coaches. The NFLPA even sniffed around, questioning whether benching Shedeur in such fashion violated the league's integrity. Suddenly, what started as a single coaching decision turned into a league-wide controversy. By midweek, the financial numbers painted a grim picture. Merchandise sales cratered. Season ticket renewals dropped. Sponsors grew nervous about associating with a franchise that couldn't even put its star player on the field. One insider claimed Haslam was livid, pacing the halls like a man watching his empire collapse. And in many ways, it was. In the NFL, stars aren't just athletes, they're engines. They drive ratings, engagement, sponsorships, ticket sales, fantasy numbers, and betting handles. Benching Shedeur was like shutting down a power plant.
Third round and the other in the 5th. And then brought a quarterback kerfuffle to camp and gave 3 guys a chance and 1 guy not a chance. So when the one guy that gave no serious chance to win this job went out there and outplayed everybody but the guy who started the job, it should be on record. That is the whole point. This exercise was, how do you roll these guys out? What chance do you give? 3 guys were given a chance. And before Dylan's hamstring injury, which gave Shedeur the opportunity, and not anything else, that gave him the opportunity to Wally Pip him, which hasn't happened. Before that, they were very seriously doing everything they could to prop Dylan up to see if he could chap.
And acting shocked when the city went dark. Stefanski thought he was asserting authority, proving he could make the tough call. Instead, he showed just how fragile his authority really was. Coaches who don't understand the entertainment side of football aren't just outdated, they're dinosaurs. And dinosaurs go extinct. The fallout only grew uglier. Sportsbooks calculated millions in lost revenue. Fans flooded Browns headquarters with calls. Media coverage refused to let go, dissecting every angle, every rumor, every cryptic tweet. Stefanski's seat wasn't just hot, it was melting. And through it all, Shedeur remained silent, which only fueled speculation. Was he planning to demand a trade? Was he done with Cleveland before his career had even started? Deion's presence loomed over everything, his posts throwing gasoline on the fire. Fans wondered if father and son were already plotting an exit. Meanwhile, the Browns scrambled, desperate to spin the story, but the damage was irreversible. What should have been a historic debut had become one of the most embarrassing debacles in modern NFL history. And that's the haunting truth. The NFL built Shedeur Sanders into a golden rookie. The Browns hyped him as their savior. Fans mortgaged their hopes on his arrival.
I think the problem is that you forget this is a team sport sometimes, because there's such a spotlight on you because of certain points in the game and what happened. And what you got to remember is that we've all been in a situation where we've all made mistakes before that have been a big part of costing us a football game. You got to shake it. It's not just on you. It's a team sport. We're all going to be in there and rally together. Nobody wants to be in that situation.
And then in one stunning decision, all of it collapsed. A stadium turned silent. A locker room fractured. A franchise lost millions. And a coach may have sealed his own fate. The only question left is the one everyone's asking. Was this just incompetence? Was it sabotage? Or was it something much deeper? Because if it was incompetence, Cleveland fans can only brace for more pain. If it was sabotage, the Browns may have destroyed the trust of their future star. And if it was something deeper, if the whispers about front office power struggles and league politics hold weight, then this story isn't close to over. For Shedeur Sanders, the rookie season that should have launched a career has instead become a cautionary tale. For the Browns, the decision that should have been about football became a financial and cultural disaster. And for the NFL, the league that sold this night as a generational duel, it became a reminder of one brutal reality. Fans don't just want football anymore, they want stars. And when you bench the star, you don't just lose a game. You risk losing everything. So now the world waits. Will Shedeur Sanders forgive? Will he fight back for the starting job? Or has he already played his last game in Cleveland? That's the mystery haunting the Browns.